And let's look at some equivalent fractions that are a little bit harder. Let's take, for example, let's go back and do some of the basic ones. So let's look at 3 over 7 is equal to something over 21. So again, the link here is between the denominators, or the two values at the bottom. So we've got 7, we've got 21. Let's make that link. How does 7 change to 21? We multiply that by 3, which is great. And we must do the same to the top, which gives us 9. Okay, nice simple one. Now what happens if we don't have, and this is our fraction here, right, let's remove this for the time being. This fraction here is what we call our simplest form fraction. Now what happens if we don't have a fraction in its simplest form and we're trying to find an unknown value, knowing that these two fractions are equal? So here's one strategy, only one strategy. We can take 4 over 10 and change it so it becomes a simplest fraction. Now remember, it's got to be the equivalent, so we've got to do the same to both. So let's halve both of these. It becomes 2 over 5. We can't simplify that any further, so this is what we call our simplest form fraction. We also know it's still going to be equal to something over 15. Now we can use the idea that both these denominators here are linked. We are changing it by a factor of 3, which means we change the top by a factor of 3, which makes it 6. So up here, our value here is 6. Let's look at another example of this. So let's take 4 over 12 is equal to something over 18. So again, 12 and 18, there's no clear number here that we can think of straight away to multiply to get to 18. For those of you that know how to do this, we'll look at using the same strategy we did here. Let's change 4 out of 12 into its simplest form. So there's a number of ways we can change it to its simplest form. One way is to halve both of them to get 2 and 6, and then to work out what goes into both 2 and 6. So we know 2 goes into 2 once, and we know that 2 goes into 6 3 times. So what we have here is we have 4 over 12. That can be simplified down to 1 over 3. We know that that's got to be equal to something over 18. Now, if I multiply 3 by something to get to 18, that value will be 6. So again, 3 and 18 are the linked parts. I multiply the top by 6 to get 6 over 18. That's a nice simple strategy. So again, let's recap this. We can change one of our fractions into its simplest form given. We can then work out how has that simplest form fraction changed to get to our next fraction. So we're working out that multiplier. That'll help us to find our unknown here for equivalent fractions that look harder.